Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a bonus episode of No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. We are live outside the confines of Patreon tonight, and we are fresh off the heels of Monday Night Raw. If you haven't watched it, allow me to reiterate or recap for you guys what happened. So, fresh off the heels of last week, The Rock beat the absolute dog shit out of Cody Rhodes. And tonight was really no different. He and Roman beat the living shit out of Seth and Cody tonight. Setting us up. This was the go home show for Monday Night Raw. Very good show. We opened up with the final boss, who I had the pleasure of meeting this past weekend. And thank you to you guys who tapped in and looked at the content and determined to give me some views. It was the pleasure of a lifetime meeting him. I will tell you now, it swayed me. I am swayed. I am firmly in the Bloodline's grips right now. Not to say that I wasn't before, because I was, but this just solidified it. Like, the dude is just cool, man. He is an absolute boss, which he allowed me to call him the final boss and ask him a question. That was great. And here we are 2 days later. He's beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins with his cousin. He's inducting his grandmother into the Hall of Fame, which if you didn't watch Young Rock, you missed out on an absolute treat. I think it's still on Peacock. Go watch it. But great Monday Night Raw to send us into the WrestleMania series. And yeah, man, we got a lot to cover. But welcome to the show. This is the No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN, and it starts right now.
No Gimmicks Podcast, and we bring it to you every time we turn live, and you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, this the time we move around. No Gimmicks Podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring, this is the time for no gimmicks, no we doing our thing. What's your state of mind, state divine? Moving down a statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly man what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, no gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, this the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state design when we feel it.
We are here live on the DFPN. Welcome everybody to the bonus episode of the No Gimmicks Podcast. And we kicked off WrestleMania week today with all the shits. So we got a good show for you guys tonight. Let's jump right into it, man. If you guys didn't see it, Ariel Helwani interviewed both CM Punk and Rhea Ripley, which you got to run in from Becky Lynch during the Rhea Ripley interview. That was great to hype up their match. Kind of unpredictable. Happened earlier in the day, right before Raw. We got a little bit of that carryover into Raw tonight. Good storytelling. Making it seem like it's unpredictable. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It gave me a little more interest to this match going into WrestleMania, and it needed it. It absolutely needed it. They kicked it up a notch because I think they were listening, and kudos to WWE, man. I think WWE is actually starting to listen more to fans and give the fans what they want. This was one of the matches that I personally wanted to see a lot more of, out of, in terms of story building and making this match interesting. It was one of the, I think it has a potential to be a show stealer on the card, but I wanted it built up just a little bit more. I felt like it was being overshadowed by some of the other matches because, look, let's face it, you have Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Trinity Fatu all on the team going up against Damage Control. That's just black girl magic, man. You can't scratch that. That automatically put them it put them here. They were here and now they're here. So I think Becky and Rhea really needed to get something going, and they absolutely tried to do that, and I think they accomplished that. If they didn't, they at least tried to get more interest into this match based off of what they did yesterday. Everything building up to the interview. They were showing the clips of Becky and talking about how Rhea isn't a positive influence for the younger ladies and going up against everything that she had been fighting against. It was very well done. Very well done. And it seemed like she was talking crap. And, that whole run-in with Ariel, it was very well done. So kudos to the ladies. I'm actually excited for that match at WrestleMania. I want to see how that ends because I don't know. And this is the theme going into WrestleMania. A lot of it, I don't know. And that's good. I love that I do not know what's going on. Even with the main event, we don't know. Now, we've seen a little bit of the Bloodline rules, and if this plays out like that at WrestleMania, I'm probably not going to be as happy on night one. Although them bringing out Bloodline rules tonight it kind of roped me into it. Like, I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. And I actually like that I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. I love that. So please keep the hits coming. Yes, thank you. Give me more of that. But let's dive into CM Punk's interview. He went in today. If you don't follow the story, if you're not a fan of AEW, you probably won't get it. Right? If you don't watch AEW TV and if you don't follow the product, you probably don't get what he's talking about. But if you follow the product and you know CM Punk, and if you're a CM Punk fan, today was all live rounds. These were all live, and he was chunking them right at AEW, right at Tony Khan. He was the focus of the interview. Now, what he alluded to, he didn't allude to All Out because I think they actually can't talk about that one. But he definitely talked about All In. The All In and the situation that happened at All In and how he was trying to protect Jack Perry. Jack Perry wasn't actually going to listen to him. And then the infamous Cry Me a River line, like that just set him over the edge. And for what it's worth, man, I'm going to say this for CM Punk. For what it's worth, it's his truth. It's his story. It's his story to tell. He told it, and kudos to you for telling it your way. I definitely applaud that because the story kind of needed to be told. Not that he needed to clear his name because he didn't. He absolutely didn't. But the clearance that it provided was major, and it did some damage to AEW, and that's gonna lead me into this. We talk a lot on this show about Tony Khan needing to be stronger in appearance. We do. CM Punk CM Punk did say that Tony's just too much of a nice guy. And this is the perception of him. He's too much of a nice guy. Now we're gonna go into it later on what's happening, right? But CM Punk he came out on this show and said that Tony Khan is not a boss. He's not the boss. Basically, if you own the company and you're not the boss, then who is? Is it the talent? Who's running the show? And that was worrying to me. It really was worrying to me. In a business where you absolutely, and we said this last week too, in a business that you absolutely have to have thick skin, he didn't have it. He does not have it, and he needs to develop it. He needs to bring people around him that aren't just yes men and happy to be there. You need combativeness, right? You need somebody like a Bully Ray there with you to, it's checks and balances. I get that you're an ambitious person, but you need the checks and balances. And everything that CM Punk was talking about, as a fan, it kind of brought me, and I hate admitting it like this, as a fan, it kind of brought me my fandom down for AEW, because when AEW started, it was everything I wanted it to be. It was everything I wanted wrestling to be. It was. Then you get all the negative comments, the negative attention. It just draws you away from it. And then you get somebody like a CM Punk who went in your company. Not only that, you lose your vice president. He goes to WWE. He's a bigger star there. You get CM Punk. He's a big star. He's your biggest star. Why are we not protecting this guy? Like, what are we missing here? And the story he told about Shivani and Jack Perry, I don't know, man. Jack Perry's in New Japan right now saying he's a scapegoat, but I don't know. That story just was, it was wild. It was wild. The approach of it was wild. And I don't know if CM Punk's story is true, then everybody's wrong in the situation. Jack for how he handled the situation. CM Punk for how he handled the situation. Tony Khan for how he handled the situation. Like there was no structure there, bro. There was none. There was none. And I'm gonna bring it on the businesses, not even a wrestling sense, on a business sense. If I own the company and my subordinates are trying to tell me how to handle a situation, the fuck you mean? Like, what do you mean? This is my company. Why are you telling me what to do? And that's the issue. That CM Punk wasn't fired a long time ago. And in the interview, CM Punk was like, I tried to go. I asked for my release and he said no. And it created a bigger problem. It's not a situation that bodes well. It really isn't. It really isn't. And it's sad to me. It really is, because I like AEW. I want AEW to succeed. But stuff like this, it's like every time AEW gets to this place where they're doing good, their television right now is, I would say, some of the best television they put out. But here we go. And once you get to a place where you're okay, we're good. We're good right now. Every time you get to that place, something like this comes along to remind you that there's negativity there. And we don't know if they've addressed it. Every single time. This interview, and I wish Frank D was here, because me and Frank D talked about it. Every time they get to this place, something bad happens. And what I wish was the case was that CM Punk was healthy saying this. Because a healthy CM Punk saying this and then getting into a wrestling ring to main event WrestleMania would have made this like an eye-opener. It's already an eye-opener, but it's like, we have to do something. We have to correct the ship, because here this guy is perfectly healthy, left our company, and is going to main event WrestleMania. And that was the situation. This was the situation. And it could all have been avoided. And I would love to see Tony surround himself with people who have the company's best interest, not just his. You don't need friends, Tony. You don't. You really don't need friends right now. You need a group of assholes that will tell you the truth and steer you right. It works, bro. Like, you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but you will come out on the other side way better for it. This is coming from somebody who had to surround himself with people who would tell me no and tell me differently. You would see things a lot more clear. And I know, but that Tony's a nice guy and he's not a boss. Like, that's a shot to the soul, bro. That is a shot to the soul. And no, please, for the love of God, don't respond. Don't respond to him. not publicly. Don't get on Twitter. Stay. I seen he got on, but he did, by the way, rest in peace to Vontae. He got on there and he said, rest in peace. And for the fans that got on that post and was talking about the interview, you are pieces of shit. I just want to clarify that. Put that out in the universe. Like, that's not the post to come at Tony on. It really is. It's not. The man's trying to give condolences to someone's family, and you on here talking about the interview. Fuck you. Get off Twitter. But Tony Khan, please, bro, don't respond to this. Don't respond to this. Let it go. Let it go. Because nothing good is going to come from you responding. Nothing good is going to come from you responding. Let that go. And with that, let's go to the second topic. And that is Roman's documentary. Now, we seen Roman on Raw tonight. He talked about the documentary. And the first thing I'm going to say about this documentary is it's hard for me. It is hard for me not to root for Roman Reigns after watching that. It's very hard. Which, shout out to the Hurricane, too. I want to shout out to Hurricane, Shane Helms. Shout out to you, Hurricane, because I interviewed him in years ago. I interviewed him, and he spoke very highly of Roman Reigns' brother, Rosie. He spoke very highly of him, and which that documentary did a very good job of highlighting his brother and how much of an influence his brother was. It also, bro, I don't want Roman Reigns to lose at Mania. I don't. They did too good of a job. They did too good of a job portraying the guy that he is. It was well done. That documentary was well done. I don't want to see him lose. I love you, Cody. I wish you success. I know you're going to be the guy. You have it in you. But after watching that documentary, I can't root for you. I'm sorry. And I watched your documentary, and it made me want to root for you. But them doing this shit a week before WrestleMania, knowing that you're going to be facing him, bad move. Bad move if they want you to be the man. I'm just saying, as a fan, me watching this shit, 10 minutes into the documentary, I was like, I'm sold. I am sold. I'm done. I can't root for nobody else, bro. The man takes cancer medication to this day. To this day, he takes cancer medication. And for everybody that's saying, like, well, how come Roman don't wrestle? How come Roman ain't around? Because the man is still at risk, which is why he went home during the pandemic. We're not really completely out of it. COVID is still a problem. We just aren't in a pandemic anymore. But COVID is still very much a problem, which is why you don't see Roman Reigns a lot. The man has a form of leukemia. His immune system is compromised. I can understand this. Unfortunately, I can. Because that is a very deadly disease. So the fact that he even wrestles, never mind that. The fact that this motherfucker actually keeps his physique the way it looks, and he's still moving the way he moves and carrying the company the way he is, fuck you. I'm rooting for Roman Reigns. It's just that simple, bro. The man walked through fire and is still on top of the game. Not to mention, the fans didn't want him. He reinvented himself and became the tribal chief, which is what this documentary covered. I'm sorry. I am sorry. But I can't root for anybody else. I can't root for you, Cody. This is gonna, hey, listen. I want the man to win. I might actually be sad if he loses. I now want him to break Hulk Hogan shit. I don't care if the lineage is tied to the belt or not at this point. It's the WWE Universal Championship. Fuck the lineage. The man still wrestles at a high level with his immune system like that. You can't tell, like, listen, you can't tell me that ain't hard as fuck, bro. You can't tell me that. The man puts on. And listen, you can talk about the title defenses. You can talk about all that. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit no more. I don't give a fuck about none of it. 55 defenses, I don't fucking care. Since he's had this title, he's had the disease. And every time he's walked into a ring with this fucking disease, he's had a banger. None of these other motherfuckers did that shit. None of them. So until somebody else does what he did, I'm sorry, bro. I can't root for him. He has my utmost respect to the nth degree. I'm sorry. And if you're listening to this podcast, feel free to leave a comment. Will I care? No. Because he don't. He goes out there, he wrecks shit, he leaves. And then he fucking takes care of his body. Bro, that's hard as fuck. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care who you are. That's hard. Roman has my respect, bro. He has my utmost respect. So that documentary, and tonight, I'm like, man, Roman's got to win. He's got to win. I know they made him look like an ultra heel tonight. That's fine. And I hope they lose night one. If they lose night one, I'm going to be happy. Because night two is about to be, it's going to be heartbreak. It's going to be heartbreak. Now, we've been talking, me and Frank D, for a while about what Cody is going to do. We think he's going to turn. I might actually be heartbroken behind it now. If he does. I might actually be heartbroken if he does turn. Because I do want Roman to win. And that is all because of this documentary. It's all because of, like, if you haven't watched the documentary, please watch it. I know I'm going to come on here tomorrow and I'm going to talk about the Bray one. Because I haven't watched it yet. It's been suggested. I haven't gotten to it yet. But I promise once I settle in and get my work done, I will watch the documentary, and then I'll talk about it tomorrow. But tonight, do yourselves a favor. If you haven't watched the Roman doc, watch the Roman doc, please. Please. And with that, we're going to go into our final one. Man, listen, it's not because of CM Punk, but it just so happened to coincide with the interview. There have been multiple cuts on multiple levels on AEW. Let me see if I can bring up the full list. So with this, we have Slim J, Parker Boudreaux, Stu Grayson, Gravity, Anthony Henry, Jora Joel, Jose the Assistant, Dasha, and the boys. Now, this is mostly ROH. ROH, these were mostly ROH talents. The boys were very popular with Dalton Castle. That kind of hurt me to see them go. Stu Grayson is another one that kind of hurt me to see go because he came back and I don't think they really did much with Stu with the Dark Order, and he's gone again. Parker Boudreaux was one of those with Swerve once he did the Mogul affiliates, and I think he got injured and he was in AAA, but now he is released from AEW. But sad to see him go. This was coming from Sean Ross Sapp, so he reported that he hadn't heard any other releases, but he's pretty consistent with these. Shout out to Kimmy because she was saying these. She was confirming some of these, but yeah, man. It looks like Tony is starting to cut a little bit of weight from the ship, which, listen, there's no good thing to do, no good time to do these things, but getting it done is like almost necessary if you really want to if you want more money in the pocket, you know what I mean, to spend in other places. It sucks because these are people that are losing their jobs, and you know, the wrestling business right now it's a unique period. So hopefully these guys find a spot to land. I know some of them are already working the indies. I know Parker was working CMLL, I believe. No, he's working AAA. Sorry. He's working AAA. But hopefully these guys can, you know, land on their feet and correct it and get back to a place where they build up their profile and get them back. You know, that sucks. It sucks. Dasha was one of the ones that she was almost an original, I believe, and she's been there for a while. So to see her go, she was really good at what she did. It sucks, man. So my heart goes out to everybody that got released. I hope there's not many more, but if I'm being honest, man, there's gonna come a time to where there's gonna be more of these. You know, AEW likes to keep people around, and it's noble, but it goes back to what CM Punk said, bro. Like, sometimes you have to be a businessman. Like, sometimes you do. You got to make the hard choices. It's gonna suck, man. Making a tough choice sucks. It does. There is no right way to do it. But the tough choices are often the ones that you need to make. It really is. I can tell you that from experience. But my heart goes out to him. And with that, man, my final thoughts. I do want to thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. Thank you for lending me your attention. And if you're listening, leave a comment. What you think of the show? We'll be back. This is WrestleMania week. Listen, I wanted to cover so much other stuff. Like, I had stuff planned, but today started with the shits, and I think that we're gonna just keep with the shits until Sunday. So I'm gonna play these all by ear now. You know, if there's something not happening, then I'll bring up a list that I made and we'll do a show on that. But right now, buckle up. We're in WrestleMania week. Shit is going down. and I'm going to be here to talk about it. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning into the No Gimmicks podcast.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks.